Welcome into the PHNX Campus Crossover Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and a comment wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Anthony Totri, and I'm joined by a whole band of misfits today. We've got Sean DePaz, we've got our very own Deef and Beef, we've got Mike Luke, and then Saul Bookman. Boys, how you guys doing on this lovely Friday fun day?
Woo!
Ready to rock and roll, fellas.
Oh, man, we should call you three the lovable losers, man. I'm so excited to be here.
Lovable losers.
We're not
That's
pulling punches today, are we, Saul?
I mean, dude, like, why would we pull punches today? Like, this is what we're here for.
The team I cheer for might be a loser, but I'm not a loser.
True. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, if we associate with them, I feel like that kind of makes us.
If it makes you feel any better, we're not going to put up any stupid fucking billboard signs around I-10 saying how many times we beat you in basketball.
About that. You're so
like,
hurt.
you know, like,
wow.
How many times can we beat you in basketball and put it up on a billboard? We don't care about that shit.
But we can agree. We can agree. I know we're talking a lot of basketball today, but like in the grand scheme of things, I feel like football is definitely one, basketball is two. Right? Like
not for U of A, obviously.
No, not for U of A, but like in the grand scheme of things in this rivalry, I feel like people care.
Triathlon's number one.
Yeah, probably because it's like, first of all, the reason why people will care a little bit more is because football has been more competitive than basketball. Let's be honest about that. Like the last 30 years, it's pretty one-sided on the basketball side of things. You guys have gotten a couple upsets here and there, but for the most part, U of A's dominated that series. Whereas in football, it seems like it kind of goes in ways where one team gets a streak, the other team gets a streak, and it goes back and forth. So that's probably why football probably does reign supreme, especially considering it's only one time a year.
The last team to win the Pac-12 South, though, is the Arizona Wildcats, not the ASU Sun Devils.
They've had chances, Mike, but they can never come through. I don't know what's going on.
Doesn't happen.
We're only
it's like they're being investigated for something or something.
Oh my God!
Too soon.
Dude, it's not too soon. You know how much crap U of A fans had to listen to when Sean Miller was getting investigated for all that crap, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, how could?" Like all of a sudden, everybody was pure in the ASU fandom. Like what? And then you guys get under investigation for other things, and I'm like, "See, that's why you don't talk shit because it always comes around full circle."
As Lindsay Smith would say, as Lindsay Smith would say, we're all sweet baby angels up here in Tempe.
Listen, there's a reason why the three of us are up top and you guys are on the lower side of the graphic.
Damn straight.
Just saying.
That's the flex. Okay, cool.
Listen, that's all we have. Okay, that's all we have.
Totri, don't move too much because your mic's gonna cut out.
Okay, I'm gonna do my best with my airplane headset to just stay as still as possible. Let's get into the beef of this game. We've got obviously a dominant U of A team going up against an ASU team that's left a little bit to be desired.
Before we even get started with beef, I feel like we should play one specific clip that really illustrates the beef. Leah, roll the clip. This is the epitome of what this rivalry is all about. No easy buckets.
Dear God.
And you just gotta love the hatred these two teams have. This is what beef is all about. Get out of here, Ty Abbott. Nobody likes you anyway. No easy buckets. Let's go.
Was that a Trent Lockett sighting I just saw?
No, that was a Trent Lockett.
Bro, Trent Lockett, one of my favorite all-time ASU basketball players.
ASU has a basketball program.
Wait, no. Before we actually get into the weeds of it, there was a graphic that was rejected for the thumbnail, and I just want to pull that up really fast.
What was the graphic?
I love it. I love it, honestly. Aside from the fact that I have no neck whatsoever, I love it.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I look pretty hot. So.
You do. So I think Mike Luke looks the hottest out of anybody.
Oh my God! Why was this rejected again?
I don't know.
I rejected it myself, actually.
He didn't want to get too turned on.
What's going on with my
Okay.
Oh dear God, help us!
He's like,
all.
I didn't know two things put together could feel so good.
It's so wrong at the same time. Honestly,
took Shane 5.5 minutes into the pod for him to quit.
That's a new record. Usually it takes about 7 or 8.
Oh my God.
I know, Espo, we're missing you on this show. That's all this show is missing.
Listen, Espo's like he's a bandwagon U of A fan. He doesn't really count because he literally said these words: I like ASU football and U of A basketball. Like, no, son, no.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that. So that's why Espo's eliminated.
He's eliminated.
He's
Don't
eliminated.
be fooled. The majority of
into
this company is ASU.
Yeah, I would agree on that. Cronkite. This is Cronkite 2.0.
Again, weird flexes all over the place, but keep going.
Listen, this is all we got. Okay. Before that clip,
It's like
was
Sean
played,
forgot who hired him in the first place.
No, that's my point. That's my point. A U of A grad, grad has the choices, and they choose ASU grads because at the end of the day, you know what's up.
I'd be wise with your words if you want to keep the job, though.
So Sean is. Everybody say bye to Sean. Today's his last day.
Bye, Sean.
Chris Carter.
Getting into, oh my God, oh yeah, we called him Chris Carter the other day on the show. A light skinned Chris Carter. It kind of works. Devin Booker, Walmart Devin Booker. But you're definitely not the. You said you were the hottest host on the Sun Devil show. I totally.
We'll get into this later. Let's talk ASU basketball.
Let's go into the hoops. Let's go.
Getting into the game, like I said, U of A trending upwards despite the loss to UCLA the other day. ASU just a shaky season overall. A lot to be desired. Mike, I want to get straight to you as far as the expectation for this game is that ASU is going to get mollywopped tomorrow at 12:30. However, as someone who has covered this team in depth, what do you think this team does well, and where do you think they fall short at times?
Well, like when you look at this matchup, it's great question, Anthony, and good to finally meet you on the live screen right here for sure. The problem that ASU is going to have in this game, and then I'll get to Arizona, is that nobody for ASU would start for Arizona. That's basically the best way that I can put it right there. Arizona gets up and down. They can score the ball really easily. When they've had problems, it's generally because they haven't been real physical. You watch that game against UCLA and shots weren't falling, but at the same time, UCLA was just able to get into the paint. UCLA was able to kind of do what they wanted. So I think there's still a question of how physically tough Arizona is. I don't necessarily subscribe to that theory, but I think that's the one question out there that you got right now is, where exactly does Arizona stand with that? But at the same time, this is also a team that's been down 20 in games and come back and won. Yeah. So, or close to that. So Arizona, first and foremost, they get up and down and they run, and they got three guys that are all conference caliber players in Tabellis, Ben Matherin, and Christian Coloco. So that's a really good start.
The other thing I would add to that is where U of A is going to, or ASU is going to have some issues is really down low. Coloco and Tabellis are two of the best front court players you're going to see on one team in the country, and where they do get like Mike said, where they do fall short is when the opposing team can impose their will in the paint, either by posting up or by penetration. You saw that several times the other night against UCLA. But even with that being said, against UCLA, Arizona had so many opportunities at the bucket. Coloco was incredibly off, and they couldn't hit a shot outside the first 4 minutes to save their life, really, in that entire game. So if you're ASU, you're hoping for a repeat performance, which I just don't see at home against the Sun Devils.
Well, about the imposing your will, ASU doesn't have a Cody Riley. They don't have a big dude that can impose will. I mean, Gaffney is expected to be out. Kamani's still dealing with an illness. The only hope I see, and Mike touched on it a little bit, is U of A likes to run a lot. And the only time I've seen ASU resemble something to a Power 5 basketball team is when they're running. When they're getting out in transition, I think that's when they play their best basketball. So I'm wondering a little bit, Mike, do you think U of A is going to try to exploit that and try to slow down the game, or are they just going to play their basketball?
Oh, no. Arizona is looking to bring that. They want ASU wants to run. Arizona is going to look to run as well, because Tommy Lloyd said something that I thought was really interesting when he was hired. And Sean Miller did some really good things here for a decade plus, but you would always hear Sean Miller say, we're going to play up tempo, and it never happened. Tommy Lloyd came in here and he said, we're going to run, not because it's a good placard or a good slogan. It's because it's the best way to win basketball games. And if you're outmanned like ASU is, Arizona's not looking to slow that one down at all. If I'm ASU, I'm looking to slow that one down. I just don't see any situation here where ASU has an advantage anywhere on the court, to be honest with you. Plus, let's be honest here. You're getting Arizona at the exact wrong time, too, coming off that UCLA win. If you're ASU, you almost hope that Arizona had won that game there, Shane.
Yeah, 100%. We touched on that.
Good,
not a good time.
Good teams don't adjust to other teams. Good teams impose their own will on you, and that's what even in Arizona's losses, they still played the same game. Up tempo, look for the shot. If they have it, they take it. If they don't, then they work it around and they find the open shot. But they're one of the fastest paced teams in the country for a reason. That's why they're 16-2. Yeah. And they listen, if they look at ASU and say, oh, they're going to want to run, let's slow this down, then they're completely foobar.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And that's something Sean and Shane we've touched on kind of for the last week and a half, is how good this ASU team looks when they run the court in transition at times. But like you guys have said, if this is going to be a game where it's ASU trying to match U of A speed up and down the court, ASU, I think, is going to fail miserably.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this isn't that game. You know what's weird when I watch ASU, and I think you guys and I watch a lot of ASU basketball mainly because I like making fun of them on Twitter. But the one thing that's interesting about ASU, though, is when they get going, like, there are times when they look like a semi-decent team. And then you got to get back into these roles where, like, Marion Jackson's just kind of going one-on-one. And it's just kind of that Hurley ball that we've been accustomed to. So, like I said, there's been, like, little stretches where ASU hasn't been terrible. But at the same time, too, there's a reason that Marcus Bagley said, yeah, I don't really want to play for this team. So,
yeah,
I mean, it just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, the biggest problem with ASU right now, and I've watched several games, is they don't have an identity whatsoever. Like they struggle to find who they are. They did a lot of, especially in the early days of Bobby Hurley, when they were number 3 in the country. It was a lot of perimeter play, and that was kind of like the whole guard BS that came out of nowhere. Like that's what their identity was supposed to be. And then once you kind of lost a little bit of that, it was like, okay, well, are we still that team or are we not? Do we pound it in low? We have no identity. And that's ultimately going to be the downfall of Bobby Hurley. Matter of fact, let me take you back to when ASU was number 3 in the country, because they came to U of A. They were undefeated. Go ahead, Leah, run the clip, baby. We're ready to go. And they were 1 win away from being the number 1 team in the country, except for the number 1 pick in the way. And that's just, I'm sorry, guys. It's just, I got to remind ASU fans how close they were to number 1. And that's probably as close as they're going to be in the early era.
One point real quick, and then I just wanted to kind of piggyback off what Saul's saying. The difference, though, is that those ASU teams actually had some decent talent. Yeah. Trey Holder was good. Shannon Evans was good. The kid that shot all the 3, Cody Justice. I mean, they had decent players. This ASU team, they don't have anybody like that.
Yeah,
they have sporadic success, and that's the worst way a team can try to succeed. And you touched on the adjusting thing and not wanting to adjust to a team before a game. But one thing great teams also do is in a game, they figure out how to get around a problem. If they're not hitting their outside shots, they go get a bucket inside. ASU can't do that. And if U of A gets off to a hot start, ASU is not going to be able to adjust. ASU needs to have that USC start, force turnovers, and I'm not going to say rattle because I don't think you can rattle U of A in the first half at McHale, but just kind of get some momentum going, and maybe ASU can shoot 80% from the 3-point line at the end of the game.
The only chance ASU is really honestly going to have is the opposite of what you had mentioned earlier, Shane, is by slowing the ball down and being so methodical, a very Princeton type ball movement and efficiency. That's the only way they can.
No, it's not, because they can't score like that. They literally cannot.
I'm telling you, that's the only way they can compete, because if they try to outrun Arizona, they're going to lose by 40.
Yeah,
they will.
It can't be a track meet. Or ASU will 100% lose. They don't have the talent.
But it's difficult, though, because Saul's right, but it's difficult to reinvent the wheel when you're already this far. I mean, whenever I've watched Bobby Hurley's teams, I never really look and say, man, that's Red Auerbach precision out there. I just see a guy that says 5 guys go. Yep. And so it's difficult to tell your guys that, all right, we're going to slow this one down right here when they don't do that. So
I need advanced metrics on like how many of ASU's possessions on offense end in one-on-one get your own shot? Because this team is like bottom of the Pac-12 in assists, and it's for a reason.
Yeah, they're bottom of the pack in the pack in just about everything, to be honest. And Bobby said it to your point, Mike, that he knows that this team isn't like the ASU teams in the past that have been able to run up and down the court with a lot of the teams in the Pac-12. He knows that this team has to hang its hat on defense, and I think we saw that in the first 12 minutes of the USC game. And Shane and Sean, you guys can attest to that. ASU looked really good. For a second, they were going to look like they were going to dominate for the majority of that game, and then USC sat up in its chair and ASU just kind of crumbled. But the only chance ASU has in this game is if they can come out similar to the way they did against USC, with that energy, with that emotion, with that defensive presence, and then hopefully get threes to start falling on the other side of the court.
Yeah, I think the problem though that we're starting to find out though is that USC isn't that good. I mean, they lost to Stanford yesterday, and I hate to blow the ASU bubble right there, but they're just not that good.
Blow ASU bubble. They didn't win. It doesn't.
I don't know.
Blow anything.
All right. Let me rephrase. The first 10 minutes of the USC ASU bubble right there. How about that one? But they don't look at it last year at this time, and I get that ASU wasn't good and they had a lot of COVID issues, but you had a lineup where you had Remy Martin, you had Alonzo Verge, you had Josh Christopher, you had Marcus Bagley. You had 3 pros on that team right now. I mean, and they still weren't very good, but obviously you had to take them seriously. This team is a massive step back from a talent perspective than from that team last year for sure.
Yeah. I want to get into the betting side of things, and Sean, I'll start with you. We've talked about it the last couple days where we anticipate the spread. I don't believe the spread's out right now, but we anticipate it being anywhere from 16 to 18.5 points. Do you think ASU is able to cover that spread? We've talked about we don't think ASU is going to win this game, but do you think they at least cover?
I mean, you talked about how ASU hangs their hat on their defense. In that regard, it's possible. I mean, if the spread is that big, then I think they're capable of it. But if I'm being realistic, I'm not betting on this ASU team. I don't think that they're we talked about it. If they're trying to keep up with U of A, they're not going to do that. And they're clearly not capable of producing offense when they slow down. I think if they try and slow down and set up on offense, it's going to be like what happened in Washington State where they score 30 points. So realistically, I don't think they're going to cover. But I something I've mentioned on our pod multiple times is that it's a rivalry. And I think ASU hasn't had many opportunities to play in front of this kind of atmosphere yet. And the one time that they did was when they beat Oregon. So in that regard, I think anything is possible. But if I'm betting on it, I'm not expecting ASU to cover it. No.
What are the rest of you guys taking tomorrow?
I basically echo those sentiments. It's tough to bet on ASU right now, man. It just is. Listen, objectively speaking, even without the U of A angle in this, watching ASU play in Pac-12 play has not been pretty. So what would lead you to believe that anything that they do is worth betting on at this point, depending on the point spread? It's a tough bet, man. It just really is.
This is the only thing I feel confident in this game is that we've talked about how ASU loves to hold the football score of 70-7 over U of A. U of A basketball probably talks with that and sees that. So if they're up by 20 with 10 minutes to go, I don't think they're letting off the gas at all, which makes me believe that if the spread is anything less than 20, I would be leaning U of A.
I can tell you with very good authority that Arizona will not be letting the gas off on this one. I think Arizona covers this one. I think they covered in a big way. I'm curious to see what that line actually does close at once the Sharps get a hold of it. Because I think Anthony's spot on. I think that it hits somewhere around 17 or 18, but I could see that, honestly, I could see that being bet up to about 20 by game time. I think you're going to see a lot of late money going in on the Cats.
Yeah, 100%. If you want to bet on tomorrow's game, go ahead and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. We've got aside from the hardwood, there are 4 teams that remain in the NFL playoffs, and that means only 4 teams left for you to bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. I'm going to be trying to make back all the money I lost on ASU money line against USC when I live bet that game. Unfortunately, I'm going to try and make it all back in the conference championships. Again, you can go ahead and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX and get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code PHNX for 56-1 odds at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. That's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Guys,
honestly, ASU tomorrow, they need a headband moment. And if you don't know what a headband moment is, Leah, can we pull that up, please?
He came ready.
I mean, a headband moment is, like my guy Salim Stoudemire, dropping one to beat you guys in your place wearing the headband. I tried to find a headband because if you didn't see me yesterday, the fro was
it was nice,
Saul. I saw the fro. I saw
it was out.
That I saw the fro.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so ASU needs somebody to step up and have a ridiculously great game to pull off. Honestly, it would be the upset in college basketball this year if that were to happen.
Before we get away from betting, though, I just wanted to mention this. We said this on our show a couple days ago. I'm very confident in the Chiefs, and that's my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. And so is Sean, but Totri isn't. So we were trying to decide what a punishment could be for the loser, and we decided We decided kind of on maybe bleaching hair. Saul and Mike, what do you think about that game?
What if Arizona wins? You have to bleach your hair?
No. I was like, damn, that's an easy bet right there.
Might as well just go right now if that's the case.
The Chiefs and Bengals spread. What are you leaning?
Ooh, I'm gonna take the Chiefs plus the money. I just or plus the points. I mean, I think Kansas City wins this game by double digits.
So do I.
I agree with that.
I'm the only one on Bengals plus 7.
I've already bet Chiefs beating the Rams in the Super Bowl. Like I'm past this game. I don't think the Bengals stand with the chance.
I'm past this game.
So in the comments, suggest what you think the punishment should be for either me or Totri and Sean.
So if the Bengals cover, then Sean and Shane have to do a punishment. Hopefully they have to bleach their hair because that would be incredible. But yeah, if I lose, or I guess if the Chiefs cover,
Totri should have to shave off his coveted hair. Just go full.
Oh my
buzz.
god!
Full bald.
Full buzz.
Dude, I wouldn't go that way. That's not good for business, dude. It just really isn't.
Listen, I'm here to do like just for the frosted tips, but like bleaching all the hair, that might be tough, to be honest with you. I don't know.
I think if Shane loses, he has to give me his headphones.
Drive him down to Tucson.
Yeah, right.
Just full on taking them.
Right.
No, I think if Shane loses, he should just donate his headphones to Totri so we can get rid of that stupid ass Air Pilot freaking microphone setup.
Man.
You look like you've been stuck in the basement for like a week.
I'm trying to go to the office. Okay, I'd love to go in the office and be in the studio, but that's not a possibility at the moment. Okay, I'm just saying. I want to go back to what you guys had touched on earlier, Shane, the 70-7. We all expect U of A to beat ASU tomorrow. Do you think there's anything like what does the score have to be for people to forget about the 70-7?
I mean, like the score would have to be something like 100-20.
Yeah.
Like it would have to be, because the 70-7 was so ridiculously god awful bad. Like I can't even recall something that's remotely close to it. By the way, not the biggest margin of victory in the U of A ASU rivalry, if you didn't know that. ASU actually lost worse than that to U of A back in the day. Didn't know if you knew that.
How far is back in the day?
like the 40s.
Right.
It was a while ago. Yeah,
we do hold the advantage. We do hold the advantage too in the all-time series.
Don't bring up the 40s though. There was a blowout in World War II also. Come on,
dude. You don't use blowout and World War II in the same.
Shane, you're better than that, Shane.
Shane, what is wrong with you? Anyway, yeah, the score would have to be like 100-20 or something like that. Like such an epically bad offensive performance by ASU and just crazy annihilation on the part of U of A.
Well, even if that happens, though, ASU fans are never going to stop saying 70-7. That would just make it come out more, I feel like.
You know what I tell ASU fans that then, and this is going to be my inner Wildcat coming in. Here's the difference between Arizona and ASU athletics. One thing right here. Okay. Arizona basketball matters nationally on the big picture. Arizona football doesn't matter, but you know what? ASU football doesn't matter either. Neither does ASU basketball. Boom. Sorry. Go ahead.
And the reason why though is not because ASU doesn't have a good football program. It's because every time they're close to mattering on the national stage, they blow it. And it even goes all the way back. This is the picture. This is the perfect picture of this entire thing. 1996-97, you guys are one win away from basically being the national champions. But because Florida lost to Florida State that night in the Sugar Bowl, it left the door wide open. But of course, and then what happened that same year? Arizona basketball goes all the way and wins the national championship. That's a perfect example of the two programs in a calendar year that had a chance to win the national championship. One did it, the other one doesn't. The one is still a national, they're still national contenders. The other one are just a bunch of frauds.
Listen, you can't say you guys blow. We weren't even born when those games were being played, okay?
I mean, here's the thing, too. Like, one other thing, too, and I hate to be doing this, but we're going to do it.
You don't hate it. You don't hate it.
No, I don't hate it at all, to be honest. In the last 20 years, Arizona Hoops has finished in the top 10 8 different times. ASU football doesn't have a top 10 finish in the last 20 years. I can guarantee you that. So, I mean, that's just the difference. The difference in the basketball program here as opposed to the football program up there is night and day. Sorry, Shane.
Listen, why just me?
Just giving you a hard time, bro.
Mike loves adding me on Twitter and then having his minions attack me.
Dude, hey, they come in full force too. I've seen it. I won't
even respond, and they'll be like, "Yeah, Shane." I'm like, "What?"
They all like you, Shane. They like that you hopped on the other day.
The other thing is the 70-7. Listen, like one thing about us is like when we know we're getting our ass kicked. It's like, wow, yeah, we really suck. And I've always said, like, hey, if you're gonna be bad, be so epically bad that nobody could ever be in the discussion of the worst team of all time. U of A football at that point in time, one of the worst teams in college football history, without a doubt. Like,
and we own
guys winning. Yeah, you guys win 77. Cool. Good job, guys. We appreciate it. Like the sign doesn't even matter. Like I drive by, I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. That's it. Like
I will say I'm not one that loves just saying it. I'm a little sick of it because I don't like looking in the past. And that's something that only U of A guys do all the time. Like you saw in the last 10 minutes of the show. Remember in the 70s, remember in the 40s, remember in the last 20 years. Who cares? We got a basketball game tomorrow. Score predictions. What do you guys think?
100-20. Fuck you, Shane.
I'm going to go 93-52.
Man, I'm going to go.
In all seriousness, I'm going to say 113 to 59.
I love how he said in all seriousness. And
in all seriousness.
U of A score.
Yeah. Oh, we're putting up triple digits. We might double up the score.
Oh God, I'm gonna go with 75 to 55.
Oh, I think U of A is scoring at least like 85 points. I'm going like the other day I had a prediction and I think it's worse than what I predicted. Then I'm going to go like 85 to like 61.
U of A is putting up more points than 80. 96 to shit. I got to be careful here. I'm the optimist on this show. 96 to 69. Nice.
I was trying to find a way I could get that in there, but I don't think ASU scores 69 points.
Yeah, that was my prediction last time. I had ASU 69 points, but I don't think they get there.
Yeah, not at all. Before we finish up, I want to get your guys' take on possible magic. Okay. We all clearly agree again. The
Mike's
Wildcats are gonna own ASU. But if there's one player that you guys think can make the difference for ASU tomorrow, to try and
I want you to
salvage-
sing "I've Got the Magic in Me." Go ahead, do it.
me.
Yeah, you.
But Shane does the lyric of the game.
I've already done too much singing. I should start selling it at this point. It's Marion Jackson. That's the only player that can even boost this team at all. If he can play like he did in the MAC, if he can drop 20 and 8 and 5 in this game, then can I just not be laughed at for enjoying Marion Jackson?
He said if he could play like he was in the MAC as he's playing the number 3 team in the country.
This ain't
Listen. I'm serious.
This ain't Buffalo, dog.
Listen, I'm
Hey,
done.
whoa.
He's coming for everybody.
I'm done with this crap of it was a different time. He's in a slump, and I get it. There's better competition, but it wasn't. He was making his wide open shots that he's not doing this year. He was an efficient scorer at over 43%. Like he's all in his own head right now. It's not just because he played awful teams. It's something up here, and if he can figure that out this game, we saw it in stretches against USC. Then maybe this team has a little bit more of a chance. That's all I'm saying. Don't laugh at me. I love him.
Shane, I just put this one up. Jackson drops 30. Cats still win by 25. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why I said a little bit more of a chance. I didn't say they win, Mike.
How many did Jackson have the other night?
21.
And he was one of 4 players that hit a field goal?
Yeah.
For ASU. It was bad, guys.
It was bad.
It's not ideal. It's not great, Bob. It's not great.
For me, I don't think anyone has the capability on this ASU team to make a difference.
Oh, come on.
But we talked. Mike talked earlier about this U of A front court. I think the only chance that ASU has is if Enoch plays like he's a first overall draft pick out of nowhere, because he's the only real size and strength that we have. He clearly doesn't. He's clearly not at that point. But if he somehow puts together the game of a lifetime, I think ASU maybe stands a chance to cover the spread.
Bobby Hurley Jr.
What do you guys think is more likely to happen? Bobby Hurley gets fired, or Tommy Lloyd becomes National Coach of the Year?
Yes,
that's even money.
Yeah.
That's even money right there, boss.
I honestly don't know.
That's what comes first.
I feel like probably Hurley getting canned because Lloyd has competition for that award. There's nothing stopping them from firing Bobby.
I think it's Lloyd just because of the ASU athletics wanting to go back and remembering what Hurley did for this program after not being able to get to the tournament. And I know it's far long gone, but I also think Lloyd has a good chance of doing it. I mean, he completely turned a program around in 1 year. Not around, but you know what I mean? He changed a culture in a year. And it's really impressive what he's doing. And I think he's actually – it's not that far off. And I don't think Bobby getting fired is far off, but I could see both happening at the end of the year.
I think what saves Bobby is the fact that ASU has already fired enough people in the athletics program over the course of the last couple weeks.
This is true.
And maybe they're done.
I feel like this is a clean house era we're going into for ASU. I feel like it's going to be hard to convince ASU fans to keep Bobby when we lose to U of A twice this year by a combined 80 points, if not more. So I think Bobby is.
This is the hardest show I've ever had to do.
I'm sorry, Shane. From the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. I wish better things for you. You deserve better, my friend. You really do. You have been on the ASU bandwagon all year. Just hey, just if you could use the phrase "back that A," you would. But it's just too bad. Sorry,
listen,
it's a bad year.
Listen, Shane is going to be laughing in all of our faces when ASU
Marion drops 40 in the
Pac-12
Pac-12 championship game and they go into the tournament. Yep.
At that point, though, I don't even if they sneak into the Pac-12 tournament or if they sneak into the March Madness by magically winning the Pac-12
tournament, you're not even allowed to.
They're not even allowed to automatic bid to their own conference tournament.
They don't get one. If they magically win the Pac-12 tournament and sneak into the big dance,
they're still going to be in the play-in.
Yeah,
that's not something you want to watch. I think we'll understand that it'll be pure luck if they win the Pac-12 tournament, that they will get absolutely demolished in the Big Dance by some other ridiculous school.
That's what they should change you guys' name to, from Guard U to Play in U. That'd be good. That's a good shirt.
It's PG. They got their own PGU, Play in Game U.
Yep, there it is.
One's Point Guard U, the other's PGU, Play in Game U.
Listen, if you want to continue to support the Sun Devil Pod getting roasted by those Wildcats, you can become a PHNX member and unlock a world of Arizona sports coverage you never imagined possible. Head to gophnx.com today and become a member of the family, and you'll get either a free t-shirt from the PHNX locker or your first month for just 50 cents just for signing up. We've got a great deal this week. I believe it's 20% off those great Sun shirts for members.
Yep, absolutely. Also, there's some cool things we're working on for the ASU folks. By the way, I'm not going to say NIL, but I just said NIL. Yeah, there you go.
Woo!
Is Shane getting an NIL?
No.
Shane is just sitting back there thinking about how he's going to plot his revenge.
He's trying to think of something. He's trying to think of something clever to say.
My mind has gone blank. The amount of negativity about ASU basketball, my brain has never felt. So.
Okay. Then let's transition out of the negativity from ASU basketball and onto ASU football. Would love to get your
All right, that was great.
Would love to get your Mike and Saul's takes on the news that broke this morning. Several ASU coaches no longer with the program in light of the ongoing NCAA investigation due to the recruiting allegations, most notably the offensive coordinator. What is your guys' initial takes to the reports this morning?
I'm going to come with this from a very unbiased state, just because of the fact that we've been through this road before ourselves, with this whole Sean Miller FBI investigation and stuff like that. And I think there was a part of that entire chaotic scene that was unjustified, because there was a lot of hearsay and a lot of reporting that just was not factual. Like everything from the Ayton getting paid $100,000 to, saying Sean Miller was about to be fired live on an ESPN broadcast, and it wasn't. There was just a lot of awful reporting when it came to that. But at the end of the day, Book Richardson goes to prison for 3 months for basically taking $20,000. And Sean Miller skates free, and nothing really happens. They do a self-imposed ban. In this regard, with what happened at ASU, you have some confirmed things that have happened, and you have a lot of people that got punished today. I hated the fact that Sean Miller never had to pay a price for what happened under his program and under his purview, and I hate the fact that Herm Edwards doesn't have to account for what's happened within his own program as well. I think it's absolutely tragic that the leaders of these programs, who get credit for when everything is going good, or when everything's going bad, on the field, they get all that credit. But when it comes to recruiting or being in the same space, or I wasn't aware this was going on, you can't play aloof within your own program. You control it, or go F yourself. It's no different than here at PHNX. If one of you guys screws up, I got to answer for that. That's just how it is. And if that means I lose my job, then that's what it means. But just to we're going to let Sean go because, even though I know he was doing this, we're going to make him the scapegoat.
Sean got fired twice today.
Yeah, twice.
Dear God.
I agree with that. There's as I said, as I reminded people this morning on our emergency show, there's so much that people don't know, and there was so much going on in the season that people don't know. Still just going to wait to see what ends up happening. But as of right now, it is. I agree with you, Saul.
The problem that ASU's got right here is that U of A. I mean, we can be honest here. U of A made a calculated decision because Miller at the time was still winning games. They were bringing in. I mean, that's what it came down to. That's why they kept Sean Miller around. And when he stopped winning games, that's when you got rid of him. The problem that Herm's going to have is that this thing isn't going to end well for ASU because you're hemorrhaging talent. You've got NFL running backs that are saying, I'd rather go be a linebacker at Ohio State than stay at ASU. I mean, I'm sorry, that's a cheap shot, but that's just the way that things are right now. And you can bring in the third string tackle from Miami, but that's not going to offset all the recruiting losses and that you got 6 or 7 kids coming in. I mean, this is a team. Arizona, as crazy as this is to say, is going to be competitive next year with ASU as far as win totals, and that's an issue. So I don't see this ending well for Herm. I think they're delaying the inevitable right now, and I would imagine by this time next year, Herm's out. Just my guess.
That's also the other thing about this, right? Like Sean Miller, like Mike says that Sean Miller got fired because of, the on-court stuff. Like, maybe it just didn't seem like they're going to win as much. I actually tend to disagree. I feel like it was more Sean Miller just was not a very liked person anymore. And the culture that he had created within that complex, within that athletic program, was just so toxic and palpable. It just was so distasteful, and the fans felt that. They felt a disconnect with their own team that they grew up loving. With Herm, it's a little bit different because he's lovable. Herm, he's a high character guy, and he's blah blah blah. Like, if he's really a high character guy, at least he's got to come out and say something. He can't just sit there and let his assistants take bullets left and right, knowing that he knew what was going on.
Can we agree that Bobby Wade is also U of A Mold 2.0 in the ASU football program to take down the ASU department?
No. Listen, Mike. I'm going to say this right now. I do not agree with that assessment because, number one, Bobby Wade tried to get a job at U of A.
Oh, I know.
But Kevin Fuck Sumlin was out there with his freaking head up his ass, didn't know what the hell he was doing, and he completely destroyed this program. He didn't even bring back guys that were legit coaches to help out because he was so far removed from reality. So Bobby Wade, I don't really care about. Like, he's at ASU. He's a Desert Vista guy. Like, whatever, cool. He's at ASU. I'm cool with Bobby. Bobby, you're cool with me.
Oh, I like Bobby. I think he's going to continue to do good work for the U of A. That's all I'm saying.
For the U of A.
We don't have snitches at the U of A. Let's go.
Oh, God, guys. This has been painful. Like, it's felt like an ASU roast.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's actually what it was.
At least I didn't bring in like point shaving or anything like that. That's cool.
Give me
that was a good documentary
points,
too,
baby.
Listen. I'm good friends with that guy that actually ran that whole thing, and he may or may not be interested in coming on the PHNX Son of a podcast.
There you go.
Explain it all. So
I don't know if that's a flex or is that a subtle flex or
I don't know. It's at this point.
Hey, I'm friends with a guy that went to prison for point shaving. Like, what? No. Okay.
Somebody else wanted to take over.
Anything else?
Everything we say up here is just getting beaten down.
Listen, guys, we have been dealing with ASU hatred for like the last year and a half, and deservedly so. Like, our football program has been an embarrassment for 5 straight years. You guys got signs on the highway that tell us, like, hey, how much you sucked at football. Like, hey, just let us put a little relish on our hot dog today and enjoy this moment. And who knows? We could very well turn around tomorrow, and you guys could pull off the ups of the year. And guess what? It's going to be it would be a very one-way conversation, and we know this would be true.
If ASU wins, will you bleach the fro?
I will.
Okay, guys.
I will.
Listen, I might have to go find Coloco.
Yeah, I will. I will bleach it blonde just for you.
Wow. Listen, I know. I've bet on U of A twice this year. The Tennessee game and the UCLA game. Both times.
Hammer.
Oh, 100%.
I hate to inform you, Totri, but ASU is not Tennessee or UCLA.
That's it, man. What show are you on?
Listen, I'm right here in the middle. I'm just being realistic. I'm
how the turntables.
I like your style, Sean.
Oh my God.
Sean is actually a mole for us, so yeah.
He's our Antonio Pierce at PHNX.
Listen, I don't know. Saul has fired me twice during this show, so I'm not backing the A. I'm just being realistic.
Listen,
I did agree earlier in the year to dye my hair maroon and gold if ASU wins the Pac-12 tournament. So I'm all over the place. I don't know.
We're gonna all have some very different styles depending on how the rest of the basketball season goes. Oh God, you guys got any final takes? Any final thoughts on I'll call it a big game for tomorrow?
I mean, anytime it's a rivalry, the rivalry game is always going to be a big game, no matter if you think your team's going to get blown out or if they're going to win. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Also, Mike is doing a great job, with content. He had Dave Hickey on, the athletic director, earlier this week, and many other guests. Sam Thomas early in the week from the women's basketball team, which we should probably do a pod about that because the women's basketball game is going to be far closer than the men's, in my estimation. And both coaches are likable. Adia Barnes and Charlie Turner Thorne. I love both of them. I think they're great. So maybe we should do a crossover pod for that as well because it should be fun. But yeah, I'm just excited to watch the game.
Back the A. That's all I got.
Listen, ASU. If ASU somehow pulls this off, I don't care if they forfeit the rest of the season or lose the rest of the games by 80 points each time. I think it's a win.
This will all be blonde for you guys.
I can't wait. Oh my gosh! I hope something special happens tomorrow.
I know we're all expecting a blowout, but for the sake of the ASU basketball program and this team in general, these guys, regardless of how bad they've played in some games and gotten blown out, you can see how much they care about this team. We talked about Marin calling for a travel on USC when they were down 20 with 1:20 to go. They care. So just for the sake of that, I hope they keep it close because these guys deserve it. Even though they haven't been playing their best basketball, they still are at least trying. And that's all I really want to see. So I'm excited for the game tomorrow, regardless of what happens.
Should be good. Thank you guys so much for joining and watching our campus crossover show. You can follow the PHNX Sun Devils account and show at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow Mike and all his great content at PHNX_Wildcats. But for now, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you at tomorrow's postgame.
Peace.